Life is struggle. I talked about it, but when you're not feeling struggle, what do you think is going on? You may have peace and looking out and the ocean and the sun, but life goes on within. All the cells are fighting against all the contaminant, let's say. The air may have some contaminant that the lung may have to fight. Whatever we eat may have something that we don't want, and we may have to fight. There are diseases, all sorts of virus and hay fever or whatever there is, or maybe something invisible. There may be a CO2 or air pollution or radiation that we may not see, but coming from outside, or even inside from the source of radiation that we picked up from somewhere. Well, some country has certain level of radioactive material or missing some of the critical element for life. So they cause cancer. And these are becoming more and more clear. And all the science and the internet and the artificial intelligence and the people's intelligence put together, we are learning and growing and figuring out. The medical, hospitals and doctors and diagnostic process and everything is being changed. It's wonderful that we are not alone. We are depending on with each other about the knowledge and the finding discoveries. And without our knowing, while we sit and looking out and enjoy the sun, we also benefit from the people who are discovering a new way of addressing the, HIV or the cancer or whatever the cause of the possible things that cause us to suffer, struggle. But for that, we want to be creative. We don't see any of that. We're sitting and enjoying life and philosophize and so forth. But that's a small piece of the whole puzzle that makes us to be here and feeling how we feel. In meditation, I just want to talk about it, is to not just understand the situation in the brain where we can easily access, but also connect to the unconscious, if I may say so, that you may not or we may not realize as much. I mentioned about disease or the pain and so on and so forth. That's happening within our body. And we may sense it, but we may not realize it. My view is that we can become more acute, understand better about unconscious activities within the body. We're not just living in the brain, but we also live in the body. And if we can connect to that, it's much better than just locally focusing on how peaceful and enjoy the sun. I'm not saying that's bad, but while we live our life, within this frame of mind, there are other activities going on. And if we connect to that, if we feel that, understand that experientially, I think we may appreciate more of who we are, where we are, and how we live at, let me say, a deeper level. I think that's the idea of, or at least one idea of meditation. When your mind is calm, you start to hear the birds singing, and even just breathing the air, normal breathing the air is very sweet. fact that the skin feel the warmth of the air or the sun may be found differently than just reading a book in the sun and checking the internet or texting with each other. There are varieties of experiences that we can have in living life. But the connection to the root, where we came from, develop all the senses and how to utilize or connect to that or respond to that. That's the history, that evolutionary process that we have gone through. When we do meditate, we may appreciate that. All the struggles that have gone through for us to come here, even that may pop into our mind to appreciate more and make us to believe that, especially having gone through the struggles and all the effort and the difficulties of all the beings, we may want to provide some insight, perspective, ways to appreciate life. Not momentarily satisfying, instant gratification and all that, that's fine. But deeper and understand where we are, why we are, how we get here, and connect that to our being in how we feel much more readily as a direct experience. That may be an awakening, opening up who we are. So, life is a struggle. We can stop and feel the sun. We can stop thinking to feel what's going on within us and appreciate. That might give us some impetus or the energy coming from inside of us, our being, and connecting to it, and possibly guide us to move forward into the next adventure, next point to navigate our life, while we have fun and appreciate the sun and all that. Struggle, peace, relaxing, enjoying, having fun, back into the struggle, but with a different perspective, different dimension, different energy that is being processed in this life. I think how I feel all living beings are going through that. So, life is struggle, but we can have fun. Let's enjoy, but make sure we have the sense of may all beings be happy, to express what they are, who they are, what they can do. Because that's what perhaps the life is about. Each have to find his own solution, but I just thought to mention. Have fun, even in struggle.